everybody, welcome back. If you are new, I am ℎ𝕣𝕠𝕕 and I am the eclectic herbalist. Starting off, please ignore my why so serious injury right here. I burnt myself. So, it looks disgusting and it hurts. Anyways, so in today's video I will be discussing my practice. I know I haven't discussed it yet. Unfortunately, it's not very flashy, it's very mundane, and over the last 2 years it has grown even more kind of mundane, and by that I mean I just recently did a spell where I lit candles and sat down and focused on it for the first time in like a few years. The most I have been doing or have done is speaking manifestations into my coffee in the morning or placing manifestations through meditation. But I have been trying to get back into the swing of things, and I kind of just jumped right back in headfirst into where I left off in my research and studies. So that's what we will talk about today. So we will start off with what kind of witch am I? As my name suggests, the eclectic herbalist, I am also very eclectic when it comes to my path. I wouldn't say that I am a green witch. I don't really like labels anyways, because I do, like I said, kind of dabble in whatever I find interest in. So I do herbs, I do divination, I do phone magic, I am looking into death magic, so there's just a wide range of things that I do. And then, you know, a wide range of things that I don't do. As I mentioned, I don't do very much moon magic stuff or follow the moon phases and cycles, though I do have that information written down and saved. It's just I completely space on keeping track of the moon. I do have, where is my phone? I do have, like, as soon as I go to unlock it, it will show me the moon phase for the day, but I kind of look past it, like I look past my nose, it's just there. And I forget to check it and make sure what's going on or really plan ahead. Usually everything is done, thought of that morning and then worked throughout the day. I have to really plan. So recently I have been planning my videos. I used to just do my videos completely off the dome, and that's why they're so awkward. They'll probably remain awkward. As I've mentioned, I am in the desert area of Nevada, and I have researched desert witchcraft, and that's all fine and well. It's just not how I feel. Like, I'm not feeling that energy here. I actually feel quite drained, quite out of the element, dry, like a worm in the desert. That's what I feel like, just dry. It's very dry, and I can't find myself connecting with nature here when I try. As weird as that sounds, I feel like I'd be much more connected somewhere where there's trees and greenery. I do want to be in a forest area surrounded by trees that actually experience fall. My location, we don't really get a fall/autumn. We get winter and summer. There's no real indication or change of seasons that is like noticeable. We get maybe a week or so in spring or a week or so in fall where it's like that sort of temperature and weather, but other than that it's either extremely hot, and by extremely hot I mean 117 degrees, or it's cold, and by that I mean it's just cold for us because we live in the desert, so anything below 72 for me is cold. I do, when we start becoming mobile and moving around and by our land, the location that we're looking at is somewhere that's in the mountains that gets trees around, like timberland. That's what we're looking for. As I mentioned, I did do a spell recently. It was the first in a few years. It was a money and prosperity spell. I don't really do ritualistic practice. If you guys see me swiveling, I'm in a swivel chair, obviously. I just need to be moving around. I don't participate in ritualistic spells, or rituals I guess would be the better term, but I do want to look more into that. I have 3 children and a camper. and neighbors that are awfully close. Like their camper window looks right into the back area where I would probably try and work, but the most I can do is stuff on my bed, and I can't really light candles. It is a very big hazard where I'm at. So ritual magic, I am limited, and if I wasn't limited, I'd probably do more of it. Right now, highly limited in location and just overall energy and feeling. I cannot get comfortable, as I mentioned. What does my practice look like? Right now, I basically meditate, manifestations. I try and... it's very mundane. It's very simple. I wish it was more. Very practical magic. When I do make herbal crafts, I try to put intent into that. Same thing with my morning coffee and with my books and things like that. So that's why I don't really record a lot of witchy things. I can't really move very much or do very many things. Whereas when we were living in our house, I had more space to do stuff. Cerberus, I do incorporate Hades and Persephone into my craft. So as you may have seen in a previous video about my books, I have a Hellenic polytheism. It's, my mouth cannot form the words. Hellenic polytheism. It is a Hellenic polytheism book, and I have read that through and all the way through, and I try to do things following that, so I incorporate as much as I can. There are things that I can't, like a hearth altar or an outdoor altar, things like that, just limited on space. I do have a statue for Persephone and a purple velvet skull for Hades as their representations. I also have like goblets and little bowls beside them as places to give them their offerings. So I do work, well, I wouldn't say I work or worship them, but I do incorporate them into my practice quite frequently. So offerings, I have bought them, they have their own, well, Hades has honey mead, and then Persephone has a pomegranate liqueur. So when I live off, like libation offerings, that's what they get, and then I'll get like a pomegranate or mint. For Hades, he'll get like a full mint. For Persephone, I'll rip it up or something. But they all have offerings. I incorporate them mostly because I feel if it wasn't for them, I would not have gotten on the path when I did or how I did, which will be a video for another day because it's a little longer. So anything I do, I try to kind of live by them, I guess would be the best way. And some of you may know, I don't know how many have been following, how many are new, but I have wrote a series, the Taking of Persephone series, and within it I do explain that it is one of my biggest offerings to them. The third book is in Demeter's perspective, and it is dedicated to Demeter, so that one's more of an offering for her. But the series in and of itself is for Hades and Persephone, so I do hope I make them proud with that. When I do work with them, which is not very often, generally if I'm doing like a money sort of spell, I'll give more offerings than normal to Hades and Persephone and I'll call upon them, but generally I just leave offerings whenever I can. If I stumble upon something that I feel one of them may like, I'll give it to him. Hades, though he has been a very quiet, calm sort of energy, he has been the most wanting of things. And by that I mean anytime I'd come across something, it usually would get taken and put on his side of the altar. Persephone is not as wanting in offerings. There's a few things she'll request here and there, but she is more of a loud, chaotic energy, but she doesn't want as much stuff. I have given her plenty of things, but Hades' side has a lot more in comparison, which I didn't catch until moving and packing everything up. I did create like rosary beads or prayer beads, one for each of them. That will be a video coming soon, so be on the lookout for that, but those are over on my altar right now. lastly, what type of spells do I do, or like, I guess, actual magical practice. I did go over it earlier. I do money spells, I do kind of manifestations and speaking into my tea. I have done a hex on someone before, so I'm not someone who shies away from baneful magic. I do have a video on the hex. I'm thinking about doing an update on it, an update video on it, because it's working, so I thought we'd give an update. But I don't really shy away from that sort of magic. I am sure to protect myself, which is another thing. Do I do daily, weekly, or monthly protections on myself or around the house? No. I should probably get better at doing that. I need to set aside a day or a schedule and reminder. Right now I kind of only do it when I notice the energy is feeling really negative. Once or twice every 6 months I feel like I have to do that, because there'll just be a week where everything just seems to go wrong. I don't think any of it is in reaction or effect to the hex. The hex was done about 3, almost 4 years ago, I think. So nothing drastic I would feel happen. I did protect myself, and I was doing consistent protections at that time, but we have moved away from the location where I buried the jar. It was a hex jar, and we moved away from that location. And I have been keeping track with it, obviously, because I want to know how that particular hex works, so I can put it in my book of shadows, obviously, and it's still going, so there's that. But other than that, that's how my practice is. It's very mundane. If it's not speaking into my coffee or doing a few spells here and there, it's my herbal practice, which I noticed in Herbal Academy, it does intertwine energies and sort of spiritual connections, so that's also that makes it very easy to remember. But as I said, that's kind of all I have. I wish I had more. I wish there was more to show you, to tell you, but I'm kind of a very lazy witch, I guess would be the term. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you would like to see more witchy videos or herbalism videos or even author videos, I do post those as well. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. But like always, have a great day, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!